I give you a crystal clear welcome. In this video, I will explain you why you can get scale on the walls and the floor, pipes or equipment of your pool, or otherwise, why the walls are wearing or rusting the equipment. For this, I will explain you what is the hardness in the water, also known as calcium hardness, and at the end of the video, I will explain you how to solve any of these both problems, whether you have scale or oxidation in the equipment and metal parts. Let's start! This concentration of calcium, better known as hardness in the pool, is measured in parts per million, which means milligrams of calcium for every liter of water you have in the pool. And the stains you can begin to see in the walls are formed mainly due to this concentration of calcium in the water, in conjunction with other parameters that influence so that the water has greater or lesser capacity to hold this calcium. This scale can be attached very strongly to the walls and floor, or maybe pipes or equipment, and then it is difficult to remove them, not to mention that they give a very bad appearance to the pool. In the images you can see how bad this looks, and on the other hand, the lack of this calcium or hardness in the pool causes the water to want to extract this from the walls, and also the water becomes very corrosive, so it starts to damage all your equipment and metallic parts. So to have your water controlled and it's not either scale former or being very corrosive, you must have this hardness controlled. Although there is no ideal parameter for this, since there are several other parameters and factors that influence so that the water is balanced, but an estimated value of calcium might be between 200 and 400 parts per million. But so that you know exactly how much hardness you need in your pool, there was created something called Saturation Langelier Index, abbreviated with the letters LSI. And what this formula tells you is how corrosive or scale former you have the water. So now let's see what this formula consists and how you can use it to your advantage. This formula involves all the parameters that affect in this corrosivity or scale formation of your pool water, which are the pH. With a higher pH, water is more scale former, the temperature of the water, the higher the temperature, the more scale forming is the water, the total alkalinity, the higher the alkalinity, the more scale forming, the calcium hardness, the higher the calcium hardness, the more scale forming, the cyanuric acid level, the higher the cyanuric acid level, the more corrosive the water, and the total dissolved solids. The higher the total dissolved solids, the more corrosive the water. So if, for example, you add more salt to the water, it will be more corrosive. And to make your life very simple, there was created an app called Manage Your Pool. Inside, in the parameters section, LSI option, you can enter the values of your pool and the app will calculate the result for you. So then all you need to do is play with the parameters that you have and see which one you could modify so that this LSI changes and it's stable so that the water is not unbalanced. So that your water be very stable, you must have this LSI between minus 0.30 to plus 0.30, because 0 means your water is completely balanced. So to introduce all these parameters in the Langelier Saturation Index calculator, you just need to measure each one of them. For example, by using test strips like the ones I'm showing you right now. Be careful that cyanuric acid is better to measure with liquid reagents or taps, and the total dissolved solids could be measured with an electronic tester, for example. Or if you cannot measure that parameter, just leave it the way it's done in the app. I remind you that if you added salt to the pool, you need
to add at least 2000 parts per million to the total dissolved solids.
Excellent! Now you know how this LSI works. I will explain you first what you should do if you have scale formation problems. First, if you have scale formed in the walls and the floor inside the pool, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you have to empty the water, clean very well the pool with a descaling solution, such as the one you use to clean the toilets, and refill with new water. And if you only have scale problems in the contours of the pool, then the first thing you might want to do is stop using Cal Hypo for a while. Also, keep your pH as closest as possible to 7.2. Keep your alkalinity levels below 100 parts per million. And obviously you can also play with the temperature or the TDS, or also with the stabilizer, which should never exceed 80 parts per million in no case. And now, on the other hand, whenever you have your water very corrosive, the solution is first start to use a lot Cal Hypo. By using this calcium hypochlorite, your water will increase the hardness. Second, keep your pH as closest as possible to 7.6 and keep your alkalinity levels above 150 parts per million. And logically, you can play with the temperature of your water, the CYA levels that should never be below 30 parts per million whenever you have sun rays, and also the TDS. This way you will have your water controlled in every situation. And that's all about the hardness in your pool water. I hope you liked the video, and if so, subscribe, because I upload one new video with the best info about pools for you every week. See you soon!